different forces trying to make him do it, the monster and this professor. So I'm just curious.
Dr. Pretorius is who also is a fantastic character, a fantastic performance by Ernest Thesiger, who, by the way, apparently I think he wanted Claude Rains, the guy in The Invisible Man, to play him, which just leads me to believe that this was James Whale doing more Invisible Man stuff in Bride of Frankenstein, because he was like, look, I need an eccentric, crazy mad scientist, even crazier than Dr. Frankenstein.
Well, because I guess in this movie too, it's like he's taking the step back, right? He's trying to be normal and live the married life that he's kind of ended in the first movie. So he's not, he's trying to be mad scientist, crazy, egotistical, God complex man.
He's like, dude, that went crazy wrong. Like that manhunt witch burning scenario in the old mill. Like I got like fucking thrown off the building and probably should have died. Yeah. Like it kind of looked like I died. I was like a dummy who just got fucking smashed by the fucking windmill.
I'm just going to hang with my awesome wife and we're going to call it a day. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So I like when this movie starts, you're just like, I have, there's no desire for him to go back and do anything related to the monster. And so they don't make the sort of like personal connection between the monster and Frankenstein as apparent as the original story does.
Gotcha.
And he does introduce Dr. Pretorius as like the character who takes the place of that. Which I understand, because I don't know, James Whale seems so attracted to like this mad scientist who speaks in this very like flowery kind of like campy way.
Yeah, definitely.
He like seems to really enjoy that kind of character being like the antagonist of a story. And
even the way they like he does close-ups on his face and to kind of make him feel a little bit more distorted when he comes in. At the very first scene that he's in, he's at a very low angle, which makes him feel like powerful, but also mysterious and like he's kind of up to no good. Like there's something behind the scenes that we're not quite sure about. And I mean, it's a pretty obvious thing in a sense. He's just trying to do exactly what Frankenstein was doing in the original. But it feels, I guess, a little bit more just dangerous or evil or whatever you want to call it, because we already know what's happened and he's aware of the monster that's been unleashed. So
yeah, well, because I think with someone like the Dr. Frankenstein character, part of, I think, obviously, and they don't tackle it like a bunch in the original movie, but like there's always meant to be at least something a little sympathetic about this character who's trying to conquer death for like reasons that I think you're supposed to just like understand a little bit more. Like he goes crazy, but like ultimately he's meant to be a tragic figure who like just went too far and had some like family, losses and stuff that made him want to conquer the idea of disease and death and make people not have to experience this kind of stuff. And the Dr. Pretorius character is so far and away the like, I'm just doing this because I'm an egotistical maniac.
Oh yeah.
And he's
right
like, they were like, dude, he was booted from the university for knowing too much, is I think what they say. and he was like, look, you did an awesome thing with your creation, and you just didn't take your obsession far enough. Yeah. He was just like, you probed the secrets of life and death, and it's a goal that, like undreamed of by science. And he was like, you have gone too far to stop now. You need to come back to my place. You need to come back to my humble abode, and we need to create more and really welcome us into the iconic line that he gets. The new world of gods and monsters is how he toasts it. Like this is someone who just wants to literally change the world far beyond anything that Dr. Frankenstein was doing. And this is the first film.
And this is interesting too, because he has this like, kind of evil scientist, mad scientist vibe about him. But they still balance a little bit of that comedic tone and mixed with the darkness, like having those people that he's created in the jars that are like miniature kings and queens or whatever it was.
The homunculi.
Yeah. Like that seems like when they're interacting and they're in their jars, they don't seem like they're living like terrible lives or they're depressed or anything, but they're still clearly like in some type of prison here. And then
also the effect is just amazing. By the way, I have to point this out. Like the matting visual effect they're doing to create these little tiny like homunculi, like clones, and like one's a queen, one's a king, one's a bishop, a devil, a ballerina.
Yeah.
And it's these little tiny people inside like reflective like glass jars. And it is just like, for 1935, this is honestly, I don't know how they did it. Like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm not seeing the seams. I'm seeing the fact that like you can see materials on like the full table like reflected in the jars, but also I can't see like the lines around the little people to find out like where they've been sort of like composited in or whatever it is that they're doing there. And and then they do the whole bit where he picks up the little king with like his pincers and like lifts him by the scruff of his neck and like puts him back in the jar. And I was just like, you know, I could not believe what I was watching. The jar imperfections, the smudges you can see on them and stuff. I was like, this was just a huge flex after making The Invisible Man and being like, I've figured out some like crazy optical illusion effects.
Even when I'm reading it here, there's actually a little bit of an explanation. And when I read it, it's one of those things that I don't think I have the know it all to even understand how you would begin doing this. Like, it says that they created the homunculi over the course of 2 days by shooting the actors in full-size jars against black velvet and aligning them with the perspective of the onset jars. And then the foreground film plate was rotoscoped and matted onto the rear plate. So it sounds complicated, is what I'm saying. It sounds like something I wouldn't understand, but it is. It's just really impressive, and like I love watching these old effects because like what I've just read, it takes all these extra steps to kind of come up with it, and
because we've talked about that matting effect as well. That was what they did on The Invisible Man, but it's so beyond like.